Exactly 2 years ago from the date of this video, I started Make Music Income, the channel you're watching now, and I started it with a video called 6 Ways to Make Music Income. You can see it right here. Recently though, I began to re-examine that video. Does it still hold up today? In this video, I covered 6 ways to make music income that some people were earning money part-time and some people earning full-time music income, like me. I covered sync licensing for films, TV, and advertising, stock music licensing for YouTube, music artist income, internet music artist channels, music publishing, and music production. So where do I stand with these income streams over 200 videos and 250,000 views later? Well, in this video, I want to talk about these 6 music income streams, how they're doing in 2023, and maybe a few I might have missed. Thank you so much for joining me if you've been here for 2 years or if this is your first time seeing the channel. Almost 7,000 subscribers now, 250,000 views, and 200 videos later. And we are still bringing new things to the table on how to make music income. There's so much new to talk about, like AI, the state of sync licensing, the state of stock music licensing, how Spotify and other DSPs keep changing, different ways to make music income that you might not have thought of, including beat making and gaming and all sorts of music publishing incomes. One that just kind of came along as we were doing this, which is Content ID. So many things to talk about in music income. YouTube changes its rules all the time for making music income as a creator, and new music distributors are popping up all the time with new offerings. Frankly, an endless supply of things to talk about relating to music income and make videos about. Yay! To celebrate my 2-year anniversary, I have a present for you. That's right, I am giving you a present. A new version of my free ebook, 50 Ways to Make Music Income, is now available. And just like this video, I've thought of more ways to make music income and included it in this book. It's actually probably closer to 75 ways to make music income now, but 50 just kind of sounds better for some reason. And you can find it right here at makemusicincome.com/free with all the other free stuff. Let's start just like we did before with everyone's favorite topic to talk about as far as music income, and that is sync licensing or production music or whatever you want to call it. If you're focused on music for TV, a lot of times that is referred to as production music, but we just kind of call it sync, and this includes production music for TV and film, also music for advertising, also music for trailers that are before TV and film. We'll talk about those in a minute. Now, there are some great and not so great parts about sync that we'll talk about here that I've found out in these 2 years of really talking about it and teaching about it. But one thing is increasingly clear. There is massive opportunity, but the music must be produced at a very high level. There is no room for average or low quality sounding music in the current and coming landscape of music licensing. You are now competing with the top composers, artists, bands, and even AI now for music placement and income opportunities in the countless TV shows, films, and also advertising. But sync licensing can pay you in a variety of ways. First up, performance royalties. The most likely way you're going to get paid with sync licensing is in the back end in something we call performance royalties. The TV program reports the use of your song to a PRO like BMI or ASCAP, and then 9 months or so after that, with luck, you get a payment from your PRO. Kind of like having a baby.
What?
The second way sync pays is upfront in what we call a sync royalty payment. This could come from the film, this could come from the TV show, this could come from the music supervisor or whatever client is licensing that music. They are the ones who have the budget to pay for the music for this use. It could also be something called a consideration fee that some libraries pay, and they give you kind of an upfront, either in exchange for royalties in the back end or for a reduced royalty in the back end. And there are more ways you could profit from getting your music in film or TV or a national ad. It could cause your song to take off on Spotify and streaming, or get people to your music website and buying merch, or something we call neighboring rights payments from other countries. So you can see why sync is a popular choice that really took off in popularity about the time of the pandemic, when everybody was shut inside and could no longer play gigs and was trying to find a way to make music income. Music for trailers is also something that is very popular. This is specialized music made for a 2 or 3 minute trailer that's going to be very action-packed and have a lot of elements to it. And so trailers are another part of sync, and they pay very well. But like the other things in sync licensing, this is a very competitive field. The downsides of sync as an income include how long a wait it can be to get paid from your music uses. It could be 9 months, it could be a year or more. It also takes a large catalog and unpaid work up front to make the music before it gets accepted into a music library or finds a use. It can pay very erratically, I'm here to tell you. And if you are depending on PRO money, that only comes quarterly, so only 4 payments a year. And even if they were nice size payments like $2,000 or $3,000, that's not very much on an annual basis if you're trying to live off of it. I have so many videos on sync licensing, and you can find those in the sync licensing playlist on this channel. Also, in my video from 2 years ago, I covered stock music licensing second as well. It was a hot topic and a nice little income for some, and also pre-pandemic times. Now, 2 years later in 2023, it has certainly declined a bit. These stock libraries change the way they pay all the time, and 1 month you could literally be making hundreds, and then the next month not be making barely $100 or even $50, and some people could make almost nothing. But despite that fact, I am finding that stock music is leveling out a little bit. The reports of its death have been greatly exaggerated. No one is getting rich here consistently, but some people are making hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars some months with stock music licensing. Or we should really call it non-exclusive music licensing, because this is music that is not exclusive to one library. You can put it in many places, and that includes Spotify, and that includes other sites like BeatStars.com and like the Unity Asset Store for people who want to use your music in games. Companies like Artlist have taken stock music from sounding like canned MIDI music to now being high quality music from top composers, new indie artists, and bands, and often crossing this stock music into TV and film, ads, and even trailers. Sites like Pawn5 and Motion Array can pay a few hundred to a few thousand for some, but also pennies or nothing to others. They are pretty well stocked with good and sometimes great, as well as older and not so great music. AI is entering the picture with these stock music libraries very quickly, and promises to either replace them or possibly add income as your songs are used for creation purposes. And non-exclusive licensing still depends on someone looking for the right song at the right time for their YouTube video, corporate presentation, church service, school presentation, or whatever use. And then, and only then, will your song be used and those pennies or dollars be made. There are untold videos on this channel about stock, and I update that all the time, almost every month. We are talking about what is happening, and on our podcast, we're always talking about what's going on that week and incomes that are coming in from different things. So check out the stock music licensing playlist. That may change to more of a non-exclusive licensing playlist, but just subscribe for the current income, and anytime I'm posting videos talking about this income, you'll get to watch them. And remember, like I've mentioned a little bit, there are other kinds of non-exclusive music incomes besides stock music libraries, like selling beats on BeatStars and other sites, and putting songs on music sites that lease music for games, and also putting songs on sites like SongTrader that have different opportunities for your music. And remember, all of these options, the beat selling, the gaming, the different opportunities, overhead music, and things from SongTrader, all of these can be combined with stock music licensing, and all of that can be put in Content ID, and you can have all of this income, multiple streams from your non-exclusive songs that are just working in different libraries and different sites. I saved this income stream for last in the first video that I made, and I don't really know why. It's probably the easiest way to make serious money right now with your music production skills. If you're talented enough to produce music for licensing, you likely have at least the tools to produce music for other people and get paid now. No waiting for royalties. Most music production jobs pay either upfront, when done, or if you're smart, both. Sometimes I even charge monthly for these services. Without a doubt, of the income sources I am going to be talking about in this video, I feel that production can be the music income that can replace part or all of your current non-music income. It did for me, and it can sooner than later, like sync licensing, for example, or things that take a long time to pay you. It does depend on your ability to produce a good music sound, play relatively well or know who does, be a composer and or an arranger, or at least know who these folks are. Being a great music producer means knowing how to get a great sound and contract the right people, whether you produce and play every single thing with your own hands or not. You can charge clients $300 and up per service. It's not unheard of to pay $1,500 and up for a fully produced, high-quality song in a city like Nashville with the players, engineers, and singers and different things you'll need there. Your success will depend on your production portfolio, though. How much have you produced and what does it sound like? You can even start with your own music, like I did, to get production clients, but you'll need to make sure it is something people will want to pay for. So don't get so wrapped up in the dream of music licensing and then find yourself waiting to see if anything ever gets taken by a library or waiting for music royalties when you can be making music production income right now. Next on the list of incomes probably is one you know very well as a user of it, as well as a music artist yourself. Spotify, Apple Music, and other streaming platforms like YouTube Music and Amazon Music and others are real contributors to a bottom line if you work that angle. There are people online like my friends Tom Dupree III and Andrew Southworth who really focus on how to grow your Spotify following and make a profit from continued income from regular Spotify releases. I've given some information like this on my channel and talk about my experiments putting music out to Spotify and doing ads and trying to get a bigger Spotify following. Like anything else, the more you release, market each release, and repeat will figure into how much income you make from digital distribution of your music. As I said earlier, music licensing and television or ad play or advertising can sometimes bring ears to your music as people Shazam the song when they hear it and then go find it on streaming. And the beauty is you can be putting your non-exclusive music that you're putting in different libraries or different websites also up to Spotify and all the streaming services and be making all of that as streams of income. There's lots of information and reviews of different music distributors that get your music out to Spotify on this channel, so go take a look at that playlist as well. Now we move on to something that might not sound as exciting as music licensing or Spotify artist, but like music production, teaching is something you can create right now and be making money now and soon. That just comes from your experience and your background. In fact, I added a 5-figure income to my music incomes just last year, taking a position at a local recording school, teaching music production, music history, music business, and music theory. It's official. I have the check right here. It's a new music income, and it is something that I have been working on for a very, very long time. Folks, remember, music income of any kind is usually better than working in fast food, the corporate rat race, or whatever job you hate that pays the bills. Teaching others the music knowledge you have not only brings music income, but builds other music makers that bring music into the world, and those students might pass on that knowledge themselves later on. Ideas for music teaching include everything from instrument lessons to teaching at any level in schools and trade schools. For some jobs, some level of education is going to be required, and that might be a terminal college degree like a master's or a doctorate, but it can lead to a completely new life in music in some ways. I finished my music master's a few years ago and purposely got that master's so that I could add teaching income as an income stream. I got to finish it in my lifelong love of composing, and this is just going to help with future positions, income scale, my resume as an instructor and a teacher, and also getting more music education just never hurts you. It only strengthens you and helps you have the ability to make more music income in jobs down the road. Many income streams we have already talked about basically pay you in royalties. 1, 2, or 3 kinds of royalties could be part of any of the things we've been talking about. Performance royalties are usually paid anytime your song is performed, and yes, this includes actually on stage. I made $150 for one performance of an 8-minute classical piece, but this also and mainly includes play on television, radio, and streaming. Mechanical royalties are paid for the use of your song, for instance, when music is streamed or sold on vinyl or CD. Sync royalties are sometimes paid for the use of your song in film, television, and more. And content ID royalties are paid for the use of your music on YouTube and Twitch and other video streaming platforms. Now, royalties may not be much for you as you start, but they will be part of your income forever. It's the gift that keeps on giving. If you keep licensing, streaming, playing, performing, all the things have to continue for royalties to stack up and continue. Could be pennies at first, could be dollars later, could be hundreds of dollars per quarter or per month later on. An oldie but a goodie. The way we all used to and may now again think of music income, playing and singing in front of a crowd paid by the club or event and selling our merch at the door. Yes, Virginia, this still exists. And it's starting to come back now that we are getting farther and farther from the pandemic. You do realize we had the equivalent of Marvel's blip, don't you? The whole world had a blip. The whole music world had a blip. We all had to not perform live. Don't want to sing on anyone and give them COVID. So yes, this is a thing again. Now, it's a slow-moving rebuild of live. Larger artists are already out and touring, but local artists are just kind of getting back into things. Comment below if you are back to getting music income from touring and or performing locally. Another way you can make music income is to talk about your music online. Social media and online channels like YouTube especially can be an income source. I have another channel called Hello Composers that is a little bit more focused on composing and my own music. And this channel is focused more on how to make music income. But my YouTube and other online channels are a way I can talk about making music income. And in the case of my channels, talking about or teaching things about music income or composing. You could do the same. Maybe you know a way to get more streams on Apple Music. Maybe you know how to organize a tour of house concerts or a backdoor into film composing. These are things you could develop on online channels and social media, and you could talk about these things and make income from ads and consulting and other services and digital products too. Okay, so I've talked about 8 different music incomes that I have made or I've made at one time or another. The real key to music income is having more than one music income. If you watch my channel, you'll see me talk about this over and over. This is not news to you. If you don't watch my channel, subscribe. But hear me when I say this. While you wait to have enough songs out there on TV and film and time for sync licensing to begin paying you, and while you live with the ebbs and flows of non-exclusive stock music, beat sales, and gaming store sales, and while you wait every quarter for that BMI, sound exchange, or content ID payment, and while you watch hopefully a growing stream of income from your DistroKid account from Spotify and other streaming services, you hopefully are producing music for clients and getting paid now. Teaching music in some way and getting paid now. And maybe even doing gigs and selling merch and getting paid now. Some music incomes are money now. Some music incomes are money later. But if you do it right, and you don't quit, keep doing music and keep grinding, and I mean your whole life, not just the next 6 or 10 months, you can have a full music income life. You have to love it. You have to make the music. You have to mind your music business. But you can make the music you love, and maybe some you don't, and make music income. I hope this has helped, and whether you are a new viewer or you've been watching for all 2 years, and if you have, thank you. As always, thanks for watching.